amazing. I felt equipped. Everything I did, in that time with you, I'm still using.
Hello, Layci, and welcome. I'm so excited to celebrate you for graduating from Swagger School. I know you just recently completed our 6-week accelerator program at Seal the Corporate Deal. So would love to have you just share a little bit about your background, what it is that you do, so folks can get a little acquainted.
Absolutely. I am an executive leadership coach, and I work with C-suite leaders and business owners, and also middle management as well after I get the upper levels on board. And I help good leaders become life-changing leaders through my heart-led leadership model.
I love that so much. So Layci, if you were to rewind the tape and think back to where you were before you joined Swagger School, share a little bit about how things were going in your world of B2B deals and thinking about going after corporate clients. What was going on for you?
Well, I was lighting money on fire, and I was burning dollar bills more than dollar bills. I actually invested over $30,000 into a B2C approach when I needed to be doing B2B. And it was a tough learning lesson. Those dollars were marketing dollars, and I will never see them again, but boy, did I learned a lot, and learned that what I was doing was obviously not working. I was getting stood up again and again for calls on Zoom. I'm sure a lot of you have been there. And I was going after the right people, but I was going after them the wrong way. And I didn't understand how to make that switch in a sophisticated way. And I really believe in what I do. I'm good at it. I get great results for my clients, but getting the new people through the door, I just was floundering. And it's because I know now, I was using the wrong strategy to connect. And that is where I was at before I entered Swagger School and learned so much.
So thank you so much for sharing that, because I know you mentioned really not having much of a corporate background, and this was kind of a new playing field for you. So could you share a little bit about what made you choose Swagger School specifically to chart that path?
I love that it marries the professionalism of the corporate world with the power of owning your individual story and your swagger and your ability to bring your full self authentically, and how that's an asset and not a detriment. So I have a lot of, not trepidation might not be the right word, but this stuffiness of traditional corporate America is very off-putting to me. And I felt like not like I can't play in those spaces, although there might have been a little bit of that limiting belief there. But there also is a big feeling of like, well, I don't want to do what I think it's going to take to get in the door. And I realized that was a myth. Like, I had made up this idea and was telling my own narrative around, and it wasn't even true. Like, I was believing this mythology. So you helped me break through that and know how to actually bring my authenticity together with professionalism, and how to actually have it not just be okay, but serve me and serve my clients extremely well.
Absolutely. So you got through that Swagger School door. Now you're bringing all of your special sauce. Describe what that experience was like for folks who are thinking about the program, curious about what it actually feels like once you get into the program.
Once you get in, you get these great series of videos that you can watch at your own pace that are on Yeti, and they're really easy to follow along to. I actually would listen to a lot of them when I was doing my long, slow, like heavy lifting days, right? I love to lift weights, and those would be you were in my ear when I was doing heavy squats. So I was listening to those during, and absorbing it when I'm in flow state, taking it in. And I loved that it was self-paced because I am a person, I'm kind of like a boa constrictor where I'll like take in massive amounts of information and then I need time to let it digest. And that is my process, like absorb, big mess, and then the creative starts to come out afterwards. The way that I was allowed to do that because I could pace myself to match my needs. I'm a very self-directed learner. And so then every 2 weeks, there would be the live session with you and with everybody else that was in that school. And we would come together, and that's where I could do some more of that digesting. And I'd had time to process it and to think about questions and to have my takeaways. And of course, getting the insights from the other people is tremendously helpful because they ask questions that I don't even think of, and their perspectives are so valuable as well as, of course, your own expertise. So it was a good experience. Absolutely.
I am so thrilled to hear that, Layci, because with our Selfpaced program, we know that you kind of might have a deal coming around the corner and you got to get ready to go immediately. And we loved having you join us for our Powerhouse Play Dates and those office hours sessions. So curious how things felt for you afterwards. So when you were sitting at that negotiation table, whether it's virtual or in person, you're closing those deals. Describe for us how that felt for you. How did you feel at that table after the program?
Amazing. I felt amazing. I felt equipped. Like I knew what I had such a better sense of what I was, how to frame things up, what I was asking for. Not a lot of blank stares of, I had answers ready when they asked questions. And I knew what I was recommending. And I knew that I had a good understanding of who I was speaking with in the organization. So understanding in the corporate structure, who am I actually selling? And how do I make my message in that moment attractive to who I have in front of me? And so that was great also. The other thing I loved about the school that was transferable is that you're working on real things. There's no busy work, which none of us, I already went into this having a handful of clients and a very successful first quarter. Like I didn't have the time commitment to do work that was just to learn a concept. This was actually taking my real existing stuff and my frameworks and my curriculum and packaging it and getting it ready for real life proposals and interactions. Everything I did, I'm in that time with you, I'm still using. Like it's tangible product that I'm still using and tweaking and refining even now.
I love that. So drum roll, please. You know, we always say swagger gets results. So we want to hear, what was the impact? What was the impact of taking our 6-week accelerator program with Swagger School? What was the impact on your business?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So since Swagger School, I have secured 2 corporate deals, which one of them is just a foot in the door with a lot more earning potential down the road. And we're still working on that, but I'm at $50,000 in delivered contract, like signed on the dotted line contracts. Yes. And I am in the works. I've got at least 2 more in the pipeline that are in that development, prospecting, having the conversation phase, and they're looking really good. And they will likely be larger than those first 2.
I love to hear it. I love to hear it. Congratulations to you. And you're being modest, Layci, because you also licensed some of your curriculum, right?
I did, yes.
And so you had already built that stuff. So to be able to earn revenue, to be able to drive exponential revenue growth for your business, how tremendous that must feel at the end of this journey.
It was my best quarter in my business, like in the history of my business. So yeah, I'm well on my way if I repeat this pattern to close to $500,000 a year. So that will be a landmark for me, big time, huge milestone.
What was your goal? What was your revenue goal when you joined the program, when you were thinking about 2022 prospects?
I think I said like 200 or something like that.
The sky is the limit for you. So if you were to be talking to somebody who's on the fence about this program, not quite sure about whether to sign up, what would you tell them? What word of encouragement would you leave with them today?
I would say absolutely do it. I would say that I had to stop putting my money in the wrong places. Like, I wasn't afraid to spend money and to invest in the company, but I had to be willing to be like, you know what, I'm taking the wrong tactic. Like, I don't need to throw good money after bad. So just the knowledge alone. I mean, even if I hadn't, the interaction was priceless, but just access to what's on those sessions, that in and of itself was worth the price tag, like hands down, more. And I've made how much money back? Like, return on investment is huge. If you are hesitant, I understand the hesitation, but I also encourage you to make a move, make it happen, and you're not going to be lighting $30,000 on fire like I did. You actually are going to be learning some great skills. I wish I could have skipped that step in my journey and just gone straight here, but I needed to learn some lessons apparently. So yeah, put your money in it's a fantastic investment, worth every penny, more than every penny, because you get that plus a lot back. And the community is great also. It's just full of wonderful people.
So I sometimes describe myself as your tour guide on this epic B2B sales adventure. How would you describe what it was like to work with me as your fearless advisor?
Oh, very steadying, very patient. I was never made to feel, nor was anybody else in there, made to feel stupid for asking questions, or there wasn't the assumption that we should just know certain things. It was always, everything was broken down and explained with patience, but also at a good pace, because sometimes I get bored. I'm like, okay, I got the concept. Did not have that experience at all. It was paced very well. And yeah, it was great. It was fantastic experience working with you. I love knowing that after I've finished, there's ways to continue the relationship and to be you're accessible. You're just here when I need you. And I trust you, and I don't think I could ask for anything else.
Thank you, Layci. And the last question I'll share is, you started off by mentioning how you weren't sure if corporate, right? The stuffiness of corporate was for you. What would you say to someone who's still questioning that, right? What might be one of the biggest mindset shifts that you've had that you can instill into them as they're considering the path ahead?
They're probably not fully expressing themselves at work either. Like, your presence can be liberating for them in your full self. Like, you can give them permission to play and permission to live larger and more authentically and more connected, and help them. You can become this embodiment of like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. For leaders in these spaces, for people in corporate spaces, they have lives after work. Like, watch all the videos of them getting in. There's one of my favorites is this video of this young man he's in a suit, he looks so professional. And as soon as work is over, he gets in his car, takes his tie off, turns on his music, and his whole persona just changes. And you can see how much he feels like he has to code switch to even like survive at work, which breaks my heart. But I love it because it's such a reminder, like, we can come in and be a breath of fresh air. And that is what I thought was going to be off-putting for people, is actually they're attracted to it. And I think it's because they're like, I want that too. I want that too.
Yeah, so we will have what she's having. Okay,
Yeah.
you heard it here first. Thank you, Layci, for showing up in the fullest expression of yourself, for rocking your swagger in only the way that you can, and for owning it out here in these B2B streets. I can't wait to see where the rest of your journey leads you, and I know the sky is truly the limit. So thank you so much for joining us at Swagger School. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.